Okay, great. So we've covering some good ground here. The next section we're going to look at is systems. And quite simply, it covers off every area. It covers off every area of that wheel. Okay, so whether it's your financials, your accounting, even your testing and measuring, having systems for how you test and measure. So that inquiry sheet, that's a system for capturing information on how people heard about you. Okay, job delivery. Okay, getting it done consistently, on time, within budget. Your team recruitment, training, and then rewards and incentives. So we'll touch on that in a sec as well. If you're a standing start, now everyone agrees every part of this wheel is relevant to you. If you're a standing start, as in you've got no systems, where would you start? Like, what would you start systemizing first? Marketing? Sales. Yeah, that's the most important part. Sales. Yeah, they will come straight afterwards. Those things will come just afterwards. No. It's interesting because all these are interrelated, right? So you've got to do all of them. They're all relevant. So there's something that has to happen for each of them. But in terms of where you start systemizing, before you go to those, you'd have to go with the. So what's systemized first? Before we look at that, because there is a sequence, right? Why would you bother? Well, it sounds like a bit of a redundant question, but why would you even bother systemizing your business? What would be some of the advantages of doing that? Because it's going to take time and effort, right? You think of franchise, while people would rather just pay the money than do it. All right, there's a lot of people that do that. So what's the benefits? Run itself? Yep. Streamlined? Yep. It's more efficient, right? If you've got a system, like even that sales process, if you're using that, it's just going to be so quick and professional. Leverage, improved efficiency, right? So less wasted time and money. So it's directly related to your bottom line, which is why franchise companies can charge 6-8% of turnover because they're that efficient. Okay. Improve your level of control. So you can't manage what you don't measure. And if you've got systems, you can measure what's happening. You've got control over what's going on. If something goes wrong, you can go and you'll notice where it's happening, and you can do something about it. Improves your consistency. Equity value. I've got guys, I work with some young blokes who work in their 20s that are really fired up and they want to conquer the world. And also got some older blokes, succession planning, that want to systemize, hand the business down to their kids. Or I've got guys that don't have kids that are interested. They go, no thanks. But what they've done is, like there's one guy in particular, he found a young bloke who was passionate, ticked all the boxes in terms of leadership for running the business, but didn't have much money, just a lot of desire, a lot of money. So he sold a percentage of his business to this young bloke, who's like 32 years old, at like salary sacrifice. And then as he stepped out of the business, each year, this young guy got an extra 5% based on results in the business. And he was growing it at 15-20% a year. And then eventually this other guy was going off to the Mediterranean, going sailing for 6 months, come back, collect a dividend check, go off again. And the thing was running. So it gives you options, right? Succession planning. All right, so where to start? So if you're a standing start, where do you start? Anyway, so it's not sales, it's not marketing, it's not leadership. What will be the first most important port of call? Any takers? Finance. Absolutely. Financial systems. So you got to know, it's like if you're going to start a new business, or what are our costs? What do we need to break even? And also, before you can get inquiries coming in from sales and marketing, you've got to know how you're going to price. What's your pricing strategy? What's the margin? So get crystal clear on the numbers, and often your blue house, where the profit is, decides your niche. So good to look at the numbers first, right? So that's where you'd start, bang. And this is obviously for anyone, for all of you in the room now, if you're thinking, you've already got systems, you want to improve them, where do you look first? Your financials. Where are the gaps in your financial systems? Maybe you're doing everything well with your profit and loss in your balance sheet. You've got a good bookkeeper and a great accountant that helps reduce tax, but you're not doing the work in progress. So there's a gap. Make sure that gets done. Or you're doing everything except the cash flow forecast. Make sure you start using that. Okay, next is your inefficiencies. Okay, so you're hemorrhaging money somewhere. You just don't know where. Exactly. So identify where it is. We've done that exercise. If you need to, go back and sit down with your team or your partner and really think about it. Where are we wasting time and materials and money? And then think about how you can fix it. And the third one, what do you reckon the third one is? So finance, inefficiencies. Once you've done those. Low skill, low fun tasks. So if you're doing, as the owner of the business, if you're doing something that's really mundane, that you can pay someone $20 an hour to do for you, so office admin stuff, paper pushing, what you want to do is create a system and outsource it. And you keep doing that. So ultimately, all you do is the high dollar productive activity. Okay, the process that I see all the time is a guy that's sort of standing start, goes from working on the tools, doing supervision, managing everything, to off the tools in the office, and then gets a supervisor that he then meets with once a week. He runs the jobs for him. And then he gets office admin person. Often it's the office admin, then the supervisor. And then he's just overseeing all the front end. So the sales and the marketing, doing sales appointments, seeing architects, real estate agents, whatever it is, and then just providing the workflow through that front end, those front end channels, and then even then getting salespeople. All right, and then really just managing the whole thing. To then even putting a general manager in place, and then overseeing. So that's sort of the sequence, and then you just keep repeating these, and you got to keep reviewing those as well, because as you grow, if that's what you're going to do, your break-even point's going to change, your expenses are going to change, so you got to keep a handle on that. All right, so what I'll get you guys to do now is just think about the top 3 areas for your business that you need to work on in terms of systems. It's just 60 seconds, just jot down. Is there one in finance? Maybe you've got a handle on the finance rules. Where are your biggest inefficiencies? Just the top 3 things that you need to systemize, preferably within the next 90 days. Okay, got it. All right, guys, and I'll just quickly get you to lock in your number 1 learning. And for people watching at home as well, I hope you've been following this exercise, the end of each section. Number 1 learning, bang, and then how much money is it going to make you or save you by implementing it in the next 12 months? Just jot that down as well quickly. So hopefully by the end of today, when you do leave here, you'll have a list of at least one key area for each segment or piece of the pie of the profit wheel that we went through, that you can start actioning straight away. And you've quantified them, so you know what the dollar return should be, right?